Thank you for joining us today for Intelligent Automation Solutions for Insurance. Welcome to our panelists, Steve Sadler, Chief Revenue Officer, Lydonia Technologies, Mike Rogers, VP of Partnerships at Boost AI, and Sathya Sethuraman, Senior Director of Global Insurance Practice at UiPath. Thank you for joining us today. Today, Steve Sadler will kick us off with Intelligent Automation Foundations, followed by Sathya Sethuraman, who will cover accelerating insurance transformation with a digital workforce. Next up, Mike Rogers will discuss conversational AI to boost customer and employee experience. And with that, I will hand it off to Steve.
Thank you, Liz, and good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to join you all today and talk about two of my favorite things in this world, automation and insurance. And in case you don't believe me, I will confess that 30 years ago, I actually worked as an insurance agent for Prudential, which actually reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Woody Allen, who once said, there are worse things in life than death. Have you ever spent an evening with a life insurance salesman? But seriously, what's been remarkable to me is that while so many things have changed in the insurance industry over the past 30 years, direct-to-consumer selling, expedited claims handling, advanced analytics, so much is still the same in terms of what actually happens behind the scenes in the home office and in the back office, whether you're a carrier or a broker or MGA. So much of that work is still being done manually, right? By teams of people doing essentially the same activities despite years of investment in core processing and customer-facing systems. However, in the past few years, really accelerated by the pandemic and the subsequent recovery, there have been a number of competing factors that are forcing everyone in the industry to rethink how business is conducted. We've essentially reached a tipping point where the current state is simply, untenable. First, increasing costs are putting pressure on margins in a manner not seen in nearly 40 years. Second, with these costs increasing, customers are definitely re-examining their relationships and their options. We're seeing this in a large spike in new quote requests across our customer base. This is forcing carriers and brokers alike to invest in providing superior value to their customers to reduce churn and protect their renewals. And finally, it's clear that it's not just technology that needs investment. With new systems, products, capabilities being delivered, the workforce of the future needs to be liberated from mundane tasks to spend time on innovating for and servicing the needs of the customer. All at a time when people are difficult to attract and retain, especially in the insurance industry. In fact, in a recent poll of senior industry executives done by PwC, nearly 2/3 of those surveyed, 2/3 believe that the talent acquisition and retention is the number one threat that could prevent their companies from attaining their goals. And of those folks, just 26%, a quarter of them, see that challenge ending anytime soon. So to address these challenges, organizations of all sizes have begun to invest in automation technologies at a record pace. Now, while automation has been around for decades, the evolution of this technology is accelerating adoption at a record pace. In fact, at Lydonia, what we're seeing is that automation has become a board-level imperative, where senior executives are being asked by their boards to outline their enterprise automation strategy to address these challenges. This is effectively shifting automation from a departmental project to an enterprise-wide program. Today, we'll be sharing some strategies on how to make this transition. Before we go too much further, let's briefly define intelligent automation. In the past, we used to define automation as emulating what people could do with a keyboard and a mouse. Think macros in Excel or simple scripts to automate simple, repetitive tasks that were unlikely to change. However, through the convergence of several technologies like AI, machine learning, neural networks, we can now automate what was before unautomatable. With the ability to automate complex, long-running processes workflows that require human intervention and judgment, we now open the aperture into what's possible. And over the next few minutes, we're going to discuss some of these specific use cases. At Lydonia Technologies, what we do is help our insurance customers solve their business challenges by accelerating their transformation through the unlocking and harnessing of intelligent automation at scale. Wherever you are in your automation journey, whether you're just starting out, have stalled, or want to go bigger and faster across the enterprise, we can help by identifying the appropriate use cases and help deploy these solutions very quickly and efficiently. We also believe in enabling our customers to learn our methodology and become not only self-sustainable, but to build out an operating model to support and execute their enterprise automation program at scale. To do this, we leverage several market-leading technologies, two of which we'll be hearing from today. First, UiPath, the undisputed leader in intelligent automation software, and really what I'll say, the catalyst of the hyperautomation movement by redefining what's possible through their advanced technology. And secondly, Boost AI, the leader in the rapidly emerging space of conversational artificial intelligence. Organizations are increasingly leveraging this exciting technology to drive better engagement and provide a superior experience to both their external and internal customers. So to start us off, please join me in welcoming Mr. Sathya Sethuraman, Senior Director, Global Insurance Practice at UiPath, who will share with us strategies on accelerating insurance transformation with the digital workforce. Sathya?
Thank you, Steve. And I would start from where you actually have landed, and then I will slightly go backwards because you hit the bullseye when you discussed about the perfect storm, and the perfect storm hit now. And what happened before that was history, right? How the automation evolved as a technology capability was more taking a robot or macro as a hammer and chasing the nail. Then I was doing automation 2016, 17, 18. That was the case. And that is one of the reasons where the automation imperatives were more departmental and the bottom-up approach was taken by many of the center of excellences in implementing automation with a very small focus on removing repetitive tasks from human and more gaining the efficiency parameters, right? But what happened in the 2020, 21, and 22 was a sequence of storm that was happening. This is not one sequence of storm that led to this perfect storm, because 2021, the discussion started with how can I enable my people to consistently deliver the customer experience, because of COVID, people were working remote, customer experience was impacted. And how do I deliver that consistent customer experience with the remote workforce or hybrid workforce was the question. In 2021, people started leaving and again retaining the same level of experience, customer experience, but with employee experience to retain the employees, because many employees were doing lateral movement and thereby increasing the cost of operations 30-40%. And 2022, inflation has hit. Inflation not only from the workforce, and we are in service industry, majority of the money goes there, and also in terms of, for example, claims. When it comes to claim, the input that goes into claims as well as the replacement cost, everything started going up. So given that the three factor that is impacting has started becoming hardening of the pricing market, where premium started increasing. And now JD Power says 12% of customers have now started shopping. And only 6% is moving because everyone is increasing the price, but still the customers are shopping, which can create more stress on the contact centers and operations. And that is going to increase the cost, right? The people are shopping, I know that, as an insurer, people are coming and doing quote processing. I need to support it. I need to spend 20 minutes on that call, but the customer can leave without even switching to me. So these different factors that are impacting are becoming the board level of discussion. And then the board level executives started looking at automation delivering value on customer experience as well as the futuristic workforce nomenclature. Now started looking at how I can extend that automation or expand the automation, leveraging some of those AI machine learning capabilities in delivering an agile workforce that can optimize my operational cost as well as deliver consistent customer experience. So coming to that, the big rocks, these are the three big rocks that the board level has already started realizing that automation can deliver the value. This includes the names of Generali, Aon, who have published in their annual reports itself that automation has released capacity of 1 million hours FTE. And not only that, we have not stopped there, but also that FTE capacity release has been looked upon and diverted towards serving better customer experience, superior customer retention, and also having a better impact despite the hardening market, having a better impact on the uh, bottom line or in the balance sheet and revenue statements. So driving innovation, digital, and coming to digital, JD Powers again says that majority of the programs that the insurers have deployed for improving the customer experience without considering the core automation have not been effective, because the digital has been always the front office function, but giving to the middle office and the back office functions that includes processing of underwriting or claims, and then the payment processing, those sort of middle office and back office is handled by automation. Without that, still everything is a disconnect within the functional units as well. So given that, enabling seamless customer journeys, orchestrating across human and machine has become a big imperative that has been delivered by the automation. And then future proofing resilience workforce and improving the skills. I have talked about this uh, human workforce just changing, shifting the job laterally, still getting 30-40% increase of pay. What that has led to in many of the insurers looking at, and we have been working with Lydonia as well in some of the insurers there, where the reskilling is happening, where insurers are taking people from operations and targeting 5 to 10% of people to be converted as the low code power users who can actually develop automation for themselves as well as for others, and then see it as a value add to pay them better. And then if you go to the next slide, you would see that the board level imperatives are clearly connected to the departmental or functional unit imperatives. Here again, department level or automations have been again bottom up, but here the functional or department level automations are still top down based on the SVPs, senior vice presidents and vice presidents, their imperatives, right? What do the KPIs they carry? So for example, in contact center, doing an automation to save 2 minutes is different than a COO looking for retaining the customer experience and net promoter score, right? So that is where now the automation imperatives are top down, even in the functional unit level. We can go after use case by use case, but as of now, I'm going to give the lay of the land where the automation levers are, and happy to discuss, how that is being delivered in those functional unit. Then, if you look at 4 pillars of automation, and Steve mentioned about the enterprise-wide automation. Enterprise-wide automation still at functional level or department level, looking at it a top-down approach requires certain levers. One of the lever is automate what can be automatable. People talk about low-hanging fruit. A lot of times the low-hanging fruits are plugged. And no company or no farmer is going to say that I'm going to just pluck the low hanging fruit and keep the high hanging fruits rotten, right? You don't want the entire farm to be rotting. So instead of that, look at it at a holistic picture, how you can take every fruit from that tree, each tree, and optimize your profitability and growth, right? And that is where we see that middle office functions and back office function is where there are a lot of opportunities to automate the repetitive task and pass it on to the robots, which we call it as digital workers, and then execute it. The second one is about the power user itself, right? When you provide a digital assistant to an employee, this is where the human machine interaction also comes. This is not purely robot, but also the chatbot we are going to talk about, that even the chat GPT. Some of the insurers have deployed bots on top of Slack, bots on top of the internal channels like Teams. A lot of that interaction between human robot collaboration is helping to stitch that the middle office function to the front office function and hand over the processes, the transactions for fulfillment. And when we go to the next step, democratizing the development, we see that the users such as actuaries, financial analysts, day in and day out, whoever has been dealing with data, were able to quickly churn out automation to perform their task, because there the most important KPI is about accuracy and regulatory compliance. And then if you look at the last piece, this is where unleashing the AI. AI can be unleashed in front end, customer service fulfillment, smart email, and quotes processing, to the seamlessly transitioning that to the multi-channel environment of contact center, and from there to actually provide some of the middle office. For example, claims adjusters, they are not simply middle office, they also communicate with the agents and customers. How do you enable that seamless transition of multi-channel ecosystem there through the AI and machine learning? So these are some of the levers that the insurers are using to deliver the automation, both at board level as well as at the functional unit level. If you go to the next step, I'm not going to go through all these things. So this is a two-part journey, right? One is digitization, where you can take communications, voice of the customers, where you can take the voice and then convert to text and do the mining or document extraction. One side is getting all this structured, semi-structured, unstructured data, on which the entire insurance industry is hinging upon, and then put that into an automation per se. So automation is on the downstream actionable way of what insight they have got. It may be, let it be, auto triaging to case automation when it comes to underwriting and claims, or query automations. These are some of the automations that are triggered downstream based on the collaboration of AI and RPA. I'm going to hand it over to Mike Rogers of Boost AI to get some of this in action. So Steve talked about the pragmatic way of using AI. So here we are talking about very much pragmatic way of how do you use AI in collaboration with automation to deliver the result, thereby augmenting the human workforce. That's exactly what Mike is going to touch upon in his segment. Mike?
Perfect. Thanks, Sathya. Thanks, Steve. Really enjoyed listening to your discussion so far. Love talking about intelligent automation. So let's start with a little bit of history. The AI-powered virtual agents of today are no longer the chatbots of yesteryears. Thank goodness. We probably all had some type of unpleasant chatbot experience in the past. Even today, there are legacy chatbots still disappointing those that engage with them. And all they're doing is just hoping to get their issues resolved quickly and efficiently. But because there's been great advancement in AI and machine learning, similar to what Sathya and Steve have already mentioned today, today's virtual agent can handle a broader scope of intents, handle transactional or integrated use cases, and can drive high resolution rates, avoiding the abandonment of this channel by customers just trying to get help. There are a lot of stats out there that highlight the potential of this market, but all of them have one thing in common. All of them were published before ChatGPT came into the mix a few months ago and has taken the market by storm. I'd ask the question, how many of you have heard of ChatGPT? Well, we can get into large language models and the concept of generative AI next time we get a chance to catch up. As every industry is moving towards digitalization, the expectations of the customers are increasing, and it's becoming very tricky for insurance companies to match them. As of today, the insurance sector is facing a lot of challenges when contrasting with other sectors or industries. You know the old saying, do more with less, right? Trying to keep customers delighted, call center agents happy, and systems integrated and up to date are just some of these challenges that being faced by decision makers that run these operations. All of these challenges represent a great area of opportunity for both conversational AI and automation to come in and play a role going forward for forward-thinking organizations that want to compete for today's consumer. Beyond the challenges being faced by the call center, if we expand on our field of vision in terms of where conversational AI can be applied with and around an insurance organization, you can see there are many more exciting use cases. Not only do we see an increase in demand for addressing external use cases for customer service and support, as you can imagine, we often find ourselves working with organizations to address the service and support of their employees, the agents, the brokers. There are some consistent success themes that come from these types of initiatives. The opportunity to be able to speak to more than one person at the same time using a virtual agent, the idea of it leading to faster processing times and more satisfied customers, that help the ability to help identify customer needs throughout an open-ended journey. Now that we understand where conversational AI-powered virtual agent use cases can be applied, let's take a quick look at the story of combining this with RPA, or what I like to call peanut butter and jelly, or bacon and eggs. You name your favorite combo. What we do know is we can expand upon the conversational automation journey by unlocking the power of RPA to handle automated tasks on behalf of the virtual agent, who's leading the conversation with the end user. So the virtual agent is a great listener. The RPA bot is a great doer. They work in concert, focus on what they do best to meet the needs of the audience that they're serving. Leveraging these technologies in concert, you can supercharge the claims process, you can reduce customer confusion, and you can drive the best engagement experience for your customers and retain their business, all while attracting new customers, new policyholders to your business. What's next? Let me leave you with some things to think about going forward. Make sure to not only assess your situation, make sure you develop the appropriate roadmap to automation excellence, combining both human and robotic engagement throughout that process. And please don't forget, this is an ongoing journey, not a destination. Don't be satisfied with just covering low scope model or FAQ type questions. Have a vision for transactional experiences through the virtual agent, and let the virtual agent help modernize your legacy back office solutions and get that data unlocked from those systems through the power of RPA. Make sure you identify existing employees and roles inside the organization best suited to leverage this technology, and own it and embrace it going forward. Get them trained up on no-code platforms like UiPath or Boost AI. And always throughout the entire process, please keep revisiting the customer's perspective and make sure you build a path towards meeting their needs, not only now, but in the future. With that, I'll pass it back to Steve.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mike, and thanks, Sathya, for your insights. A couple of big takeaways there. Number one, it's clear that the breadth of the solutions that UiPath can deliver upon has never been greater, thanks to the investment and the innovation that UiPath has made over the last several years. And when you layer on top of that technology, these exciting technologies like the intelligent virtual agent technology of Boost AI, it really helps create an end-to-end customer experience, which again, I think everyone in this industry is looking to achieve at dramatically reduced operating costs. But I think sometimes the the best messages are the simplest. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Mike, when you said that, the UiPath technology, those digital workers, they're great doers. And the Boost AI technology is a great listener. And when you combine a great listener with a great doer, amazing things can be achieved. So thank you folks both for your perspective on these emerging technology trends. Now to kind of tie it all up in a bow, we started the day by talking about how enterprise automation was becoming a board imperative. And to fully derive all of the value from an enterprise automation strategy, it's imperative that you build out an enterprise automation program. And we've seen programs being built across the industry, some wildly successful, some, let's just say, less so. And like the farmers insurance ads we see on television, we know a thing or two here at Lydonia because we've seen a thing or two. And really what we've uncovered over the last several years of helping our customers build out their enterprise automation programs is really there are 4 key enablers or 4 key legs to the stool to execute effectively across an enterprise strategy. The first seems rather intuitive, but it's a must-to-have executive sponsorship. Without executive sponsorship at the C-level, automation oftentimes becomes a project and not a program. If it's important at the C-level and it gets the funding and the resources and the attention it deserves, we've seen those enterprise automation programs succeed wildly. Second, it's very important to have a North Star goal, right? There's an old adage, when you're lost, any road will get you there. The most effective programs we see have a publicly stated goal that they are driving to measure effectively. It might be as simple as number of hours saved. We work with a software company in New York City that says that they want to save 2 million hours in aggregate of folks' time with their automation strategy. Some, it's more tangible in terms of cost takeout or cost avoidance. Whatever it may be for your organization, it's very, very important that it's a public goal and that everyone understands what good looks like. The third leg of the stool is around building out a center of automation, right? There is a level of investment that needs to be made in people to help run and execute against this program. It's not a huge investment. In fact, we've got customers with several hundred automations in production with less than 5 people executing in their center of automation, right? So there needs to be dedicated people that are aligned to the business and driving the strategy internal inside of an organization. And fourth and finally, it's imperative that we have a show-back model, right? We have to be able to determine and we have to be able to communicate back to the business in an easily consumable format what the progress has been made to date and what the anticipated return on investment will be for future waves of automation. So with that, I want to thank you all for joining our webinar today. We appreciate you taking the time, and on behalf of UiPath and Boost AI, thank you for being here. Have a great day.